Q&Asa. Game on Daily.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the world of Q&Asa, the show that still goes on despite all of the vast, far-reaching changes to the Gaming Arcadia channel. This is something a little bit different. We have podcasts on a Tuesday, we have podcasts on a Thursday, but this is a sit-down with all of you. Q&Asa, past, present, and future of gaming, they all converge, and we talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about. It is a big conversation, so if you are here either for the first time ever, or if you just come from the Gaming Arcadia Discord server, and just talk to me, talk to each other. We go back and forth and we see where the show takes us. It's usually entertaining. If Replicant, you don't know what the soundtrack is yet, so don't approve of it too soon. It's a deceiving one. It's a deceiving one. Oh no, Tom had me muted, so he's missed out on that. So, yeah, it's conversation. If that is not good enough for you, if talking to me, talking to everyone in there doesn't work for you, you need more attention more immediately, you can chuck super chats at it. They do help sustain all of the community servers and good things like that we're doing with Gaming Arcadia. Or maybe you want to get your face and your voice onto the internet. You can jump onto our Discord. The link is in the description of the video, hopefully. Stick yourself in one of the waiting rooms, and if I happen to notice, I'll pull you in and you can come and have a little chat. Apart from you, Ella, because you're already there, so if you want to pop in and have a little chat, you're going to have to yell somewhere. What's up, people? This is FTW. Thank you so much for those edits, by the way, FTW. They are thoroughly entertaining. My wife actually showed me the second one. I hadn't seen it myself, and she showed me on Twitter. She found it very amusing, so good job. You love the Final Fantasy VII music, but this isn't Final Fantasy VII music. This is a massive deception. It clearly is the Final Fantasy VII music, but it's not from Final Fantasy VII. You can just yell in my ear with no warning. That's true, that would work. Jump scares for no reason. So, what else? Is that how the show works? I've forgotten how the show works. I'm pretty sure that covers the basics. Oh yeah, there'll be YouTube's Q&A boxes up there as well. If you want to stick anything in there, anything that you want, we do have a look and address every single thing in there at the end of this show. So knock yourselves out. And I think that's about how it runs. Episode 13, just saying hello quickly as I woke up again. Are you still in Cornwall? Still on holiday? No problem. Child will be asleep in no time. You can come back and ask your usual duck-related questions. So, this is how we start, with a bit of talk about games. Go to Discord to get your face in some... No, what? You did, Tom. That's close enough. Talk about some games. So what have you all been playing this week? I've had a terrible week for playing, as you know, because typically when I'm playing games, I do stream. And there have been hardly any streams. Isla's played Project Zomboid. Did you manage to finish that tutorial? I want the Project Zomboid. Oh, I can't get it from the Discord. Never mind, I'm not going to put that up. You played HDR Calibrator briefly this evening. What were you calibrating, Dodge? for a particular game, or are you running through Windows calibration, or? Oh no, that's not Final Fantasy music. You're not going to finish the tutorial yet. So Project Zomboid, for those that don't know, oh, go on then, I'll find a trailer. I've never seen this. I don't actually know what Project Zomboid is. I was just about to tell you all what Project Zomboid is, despite having never so much as looked at it. But it's one of our community games we have set up from the Gaming Arcadia place. I don't want some dickhead streamers. Just give me a trailer. I'm not going to show Project Zomboid, because everything that I can find is not actually a trailer. It's just coverage from various YouTubers and things, which I'm going to ignore because I don't want to. But it's a game with zombies. It's very much, I don't know, Isla, tell people what Project Zomboid is, because I don't have a clue. I haven't played it yet. What I do know about it is it supports on a server up to about 126 players. At the moment, I've got it set to just 8 players because we are but a small community. But if lots of people get involved and want to play, then that can balloon to 1 million people. This is not the Foam Stars soundtrack. This is a soundtrack that included some Final Fantasy VII content, much to my surprise. Oh, Isla's given me the official trailer. It does exist. So here we go. Nope, that's not how you use YouTube. Here we go. Project Zomboid. I can't see my own trailer. That's not freaking right. What's that showing? Oh, that is right. Light mode, I know. Here's Project Zomboid. It looks ancient because it is ancient. The early access release came through in 2013. Version 1 does not exist yet. Is it a massive scam? Is it ever going to release as a version 1, as a full complete game? I don't know the answer. Nintendo soundtrack. Tony's sharp. Tony is on it. Lawyers may well have this channel struck down in no time. Speaking of Nintendo lawyers, we will talk about them a little bit later. They're topical today, right? It's like a sandbox survival sim with realistic zombies. They're not realistic zombies. I was playing, as we're on the game section anyway, I played about half an hour, maybe an hour of Dead Island 2 today on the Game Pass release. That impressed me more than I expected. That's very grim and entertaining. Seems to be very, I'm guessing a bunch of you have played it as it dropped on Game Pass a week or two back, but at least where I am so far, everything is very small and constrained, but like nicely detailed, nicely polished and good fun. So I think I might play that one a little bit more. Is it Mario Kart? Nice try, Tom. It's not Mario Kart. Yes, Darge, the background is definitely Dying Light 2. You can tell that I've blended the OST and the background seamlessly, so you could almost think they're from the same game. Because it's quite like light party atmosphere in both. Zomboid, if you are interested in playing it, it costs about like 4 or 5 quid from CD keys and the like. No affiliation, you can get it from wherever you want, but it's pretty cheap if you shop around for it. Get it on Steam over there. If this is yes, Replicant wins all of the points for the OST. The background music on the show today is some highlights from Smash Brothers Ultimate, which I've not played. I've not played it at all, really. So I don't know anything about it, and I didn't expect any of this music. When I went to get the OST for it, it said there were over 1,000 tracks. So no, I'm not on Top Chat. Either I don't have access to Top Chat anymore. I'm never on Top Chat. I will never be on Top Chat again because I use a bot instead. Tony, you can have some credit for giving the Nintendo hint. Yes, you did identify the Nintendo-ness straight away. You were on Top Chat. Well, I don't know what you missed. I can't tell you because I didn't miss it. Pete, you thought the voice acting was excellent in what? I'm checking up to see what Pete's talking to Eradication about. How did you find it, Pete? Return to finish. Yeah. Pete, I've missed what you've played. It's very important to me that I get this particular. Oh, Return to Grace and Gris. Which one's got the good voice acting? I saw that you were playing Gris, because obviously it shows up in Discord. Return to Grace has the good voice acting. Okay, fair enough. You did tell me about it last week. I've not got time for Return to Grace. It's not. I'd like to have time for it. I'll get there sometime, but I do still want to play Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2, and obviously Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out not tomorrow because today's Wednesday. It comes out on Friday, and I'm gonna play the crap out of that, and you're not going to see me for a little while. Not strictly true, but half true. I'm going to play the crap out of it. You will still see me sometimes. Space Denizen, how's it going? What exciting VR things have you been up to? You've always got good stories of the things you're doing. It is tomorrow. Wait, it comes out tomorrow? Does it come out tomorrow? Wait a minute, that changes everything. What? I thought games came out on Tuesdays or Fridays, depending on which country they're like. It's only 3 hours long. Eradication, which one is 3 hours long? Fall from Grace can't be 3 hours long. Maybe it's 3 hours long for most people, but not Pete, right? That'll be at least a good like 30 to 40 hours of Pete time. This is horrible noises. Return to Grace is 3 hours long. Okay, maybe I will then. Maybe I will. You're about 50 hours into Like a Dragon. Replicant, are you trying to get through Like a Dragon, or are you engaging with all of its side bits? I don't think it's the same as Infinite Wealth in terms of the extent of side content you can get lost in. But it's still going to have a lot, isn't it? Are you trying to get through the plot, or are you just engaging with the silliness? What's Grey, Isla? Oh, you're doing confusing language stuff. You're just mainlining it now. You're on the final chapter. So I did Like a Dragon. I got at launch, and I haven't played it. I played through like chapter 1 or whatever to like. Is it spoilers to say? No, it's not spoilers to say, but I'm not going to anyway. I was just trying to get a background for this particular show for Q&Asa. And there were so many cutscenes just to get like control of the character, to explore it all and find a cutscene. It looked really good though, like presented itself nicely. The story was quite engaging from the beginning. So I kept it installed for about 2 years, fully intending to play through it. Now I don't know when I'm going to get to play through it. Your brain is twice as big, but I saw you today. Your head's not got any bigger. That's going to cause problems. Space Denizen, you're playing a lot of Legendary Tales. What platform are you playing it on? Do you recommend it? I mean, you're playing a lot, so you must recommend it. Legendary Tales had the misfortune of trailering alongside the Metro VR game. And it didn't look good in the side-by-side, but it's also a bit of an unusual game. It's sat in early access on the PC for a good while, and then they quite significantly increased the price before doing the PSVR trailer and the version 1 release. And now it looks like a really good game, but it's like 45, 50 quid, which isn't a lot for a game. Like in current climate, but it is a lot for a VR game. I don't think that it should be, but it simply is. And I don't have it yet. I want it though, it looks good. It looks like a more fleshed out kind of Blade and Sorcery, like physics based combat RPG with some nice progression in there. Just need to convince the likes of Tony and Replicant and Chronic and all of the PC VR people to get it as well. Legendary Tales, one is yours. Okay. Yeah. So, tell me more things that you've been playing before we get onto some topics. I don't have loads of topics, but about an hour before this show went live, or an hour before right now, news broke of layoffs at EA. So I don't know if people are already aware of that one, but they're losing, I don't know, maybe 700 people. So a fair chunk of people going from EA, as well as some word that they're going to start focusing on. They want to focus on their sports games, their established multiplayer games, and their own IP, rather than relying so much on IP that they don't own, which is an interesting step away from what the industry is typically doing at the moment. Normally you see an awful lot of heavy reliance on Disney IPs mostly, to try and mitigate risk in terms of budgeting games and all the rest of it. EA seem to have had enough of paying what it costs to have a nice safe license, and they want to rely on their own stuff, which I think is quite interesting. I was quite sad to learn of Respawn's supposed Mandalorian game. My immediate reaction to it was, I don't want Mandalorian, I want Titanfall 3, because that's just a more interesting product to me. I don't know if the stuff that EA have announced today is going to impact what we get in terms of Mandalorian, Titanfall, all the rest of it, because that hasn't actually been announced. It was just like leaks and rumors that revealed that one. Chronic, you're up for a Dead Space 2 remake. Yeah, I mean, so long as Dead Space performed for them, then it would make sense to get that in there, wouldn't it? What other good EA games are there? It wasn't just EA that laid people off. Tom, you finished Doki Doki. Is it great? Interesting. Oh shit, Final Fantasy comes out at midnight. Tonight at midnight, as in it comes out in an hour and a half. Space Citizen, you brought it on PSVR 2. It's good still, very indie, so hard to say if it's worth that premium, but it's fun and 4 players, and you'll get your time out of it. I am sympathetic to high prices for games in the VR space because there are not a lot of people to buy them, so. Titanfall 3, you're still trying to will it into existence. Well, maybe Replicant. I don't know how far along the Mandalorian stuff's supposed to be, and they definitely talked about canning some licensed products in favor of their own stuff. I can't imagine they're going to get rid of a Mandalorian one at a relatively late stage, but yes, Titanfall 3, I'd much rather have a hold of that. Peggle, I mean, sure, Dodge. I've actually never played it. I've seen it. Peggle 2 was the one that had like a Game Pass presence when the service was fresh and new, wasn't it? Pete, you don't even like Titanfall. Pete, do you like Titanfall? Because you've always said you don't like modern FPS games at all. Can't imagine that Mando or the third Jedi game will be cancelled. No, indeed. Especially not once everything is all signed and sealed and, you know. Need for Speed I don't like. I've never, I get some of the old Need for Speeds might have been good, but yeah, I've never been a fan of them. They've never had the handling right for my tastes. Yep. Play Peggle, and for fuck's sake, I've not got time to play Brotato or Peggle or any of this stuff. I've got 2 Pillars of Eternity games to play. I've got Final Fantasy to play. I've got Death Stranding, Dodge. You gave me Death Stranding and I haven't started it yet. I'm a bad friend until I finish Death Stranding. And now you're telling me to play Peggle. I'm not going to do it. Titanfall 2 is one of the best single player FPS campaigns. It definitely gets lauded for that in small circles. I think it felt really nice to play. It looked nice. I didn't overly care for the campaign. I didn't make friends with the robot, but mechanically very sound. Titanfall and Doom Remake are the 2 best FPS campaigns in years. Yeah, Tom, Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal? We all know you didn't mean Titanfall 1's weird multiplayer attempt at a campaign. Don't worry, Tom. How's it going, Flush Jackson? What else have I played? I'm nearing the end of Baldur's Gate 3. Alex will be pleased to hear that can be replaced in the stream schedule after probably another 6 months, but I'm nearing the end. Doing some more interesting content in that now as well, so that's good. What else we played? Oh shit, right. I'm talking the horrible redundancy stuff, and then we'll get back to games, and we'll smoothly go on from what we played at the weekend into the Nintendo topic. So, EA made a load of redundancies, 700 odd, and that sucks as well. But not just EA, it's Deep. Who are the guys that made the off Life is Strange games? True Colors and Before the Storm. I have temporarily forgotten their name, but they announced 20% cuts to their studios as well. What did you miss, Patrick? No, not Don't Nod. It begins with a D. I'm certain it begins with a D. It's probably not going to fill with a D. Don't Nod begins with a D, but it's not Don't Nod. It's like Deep something. Not Don't Nod. Don't Nod made Life is Strange proper, not Supermassive. Supermassive also had layoffs, yes. Deep, was it Deep Silver? Deep is in my head, but so is 9. But that might be Deep Space Nine, which is a show I've never even seen. It might be Deep Silver. That's really close. I could so easily Google it. I've got the power of the internet at my fingertips. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Anyway, I mentioned them because they're not a AAA studio. They're a much smaller studio, indicating that all of the cuts are not solely down to the spiraling costs of AAA games. Which didn't intend this as a topic, but I see Deck 9. Thank you. It did have a D and it did have a 9. So Deck 9, who I never even heard of, they announced 20% cuts to their studio as well. And they're not the only smaller studio that have had to go through this as well. But all over the place, I see an awful lot about... I'm not bullying anyone apart from possibly myself. I see talk that if everybody in the industry shifts away from AAA development and reduces the budgets for these games, then the industry will be fine. People are going to be sorely disappointed when that happens, because the industry is not going to be fine just as a result of making that change. Like, the way that I kind of see that and what I'm getting at there is if you've got like your development side of the industry, let's say it's like 10 people and they're making games, you can put all 10 of them, or like 5 of each of them onto AAA games. And if the industry can't sustain that, it's not going to be able to sustain like 5 smaller games either. You've got a certain amount of content, a certain amount of development resource going into it. And at the moment, the market for it can't sustain the amount of like workforce going into it. And shifting from AAA to AA, it solves some problems. It can round some corners. It can open up different opportunities for how you monetize these games. But it's not a silver bullet that totally squares the circle. If suddenly every studio made more games, smaller games, we wouldn't be able to play more games and smaller games because we don't have time and we don't have money. Like, the only way to kind of balance the scales is to find new audiences. And smaller games don't necessarily do that. They're not necessarily the answer. Sadly, it's probably mobile development and shit like that that's going to solve the problem. But yeah, minor point. Why do you hate games? Oh, Gamzy, I even love Brotato. What I don't like is that you recommended that I play Brotato. I'm quite glad that it exists and people can play it on the train for 5 minutes and then never again. But no, I love all of the games. Just can't play all of them. There's not time. So, you know. And yes, good evening, Gamzy. Amar as well. Okay. There's more characters in Smash Brothers than I realised. I did not know there was Street Fighter in there. Maybe this weekend. Not this weekend. This weekend? Soon. We'll play some Smash as well. Who in chat has Smash? Smash Brothers Ultimate, whatever it's called. And there we go, smoothly back onto Nintendo, right? Nothing about this show has been smooth so far. Nothing about the way that I'm handling these topics has been smooth so far. Nothing has been coherent. Nothing has made sense. But, you know, that's Q&Asa. That's how it always goes. So, Nintendo. Sunday just gone on the Gaming Arcadia community stream. we did something wild, something unprecedented. We played Nintendo stuff. It was quite literally, I think, the first time that I played any Nintendo stuff since I threw that console over my shoulder for the intro to go live. And that was taken when my whole studio was arranged differently, like a long time ago. So it was pretty unusual for us to be playing Nintendo games. And everyone knows Nintendo have massive shortcomings in their online. Why are you saying no? I said it with a G. Is my microphone betraying me? It might be. It might be filtering out certain letters. But that's, you know, when I hear audio problems, it is the end of the world. So maybe pretend you didn't hear anything amiss. I think that would be for the best. Studio, yeah, Baz, my studio / virtual reality room. Yeah, very posh bastard. It was a garage, car cave, whatever people call it in different regions. So it's not that fancy and that posh, but it is a space that I can use for streaming, basically, and podcasts and my VR treadmill. Yes, Gamsley, I forgot that you were definitely going to pick on it. It's a car cave, okay? It's extra storage. Thank you, Patrick. Everyone take my side and gang up on Gamsley. Now I've forgotten. Yeah, so anyway, my Switch does still work. The games that I've got with the Switch, and it's not even necessarily... No, I will not. Ever again. There'll be no scheduling. There'll be no kinds of coffee. We're done with the stuff. So, my Switch, it's not mine. It was got for the kids, but it came with Mario Party, Mario Odyssey, Super Smash Brothers, whatever it is, Mario Kart, right? So 4 Mario games. That's what I had with the Switch. Being the massive fan of Mario that you all know that I am, there are no surprises. Of course I own lots of Mario content because I'm a Mario guy. But that bit was a lie. I don't like anything Mario typically, so I haven't really played any of them. Right? Couple of minutes of Odyssey. It's a shit game. That's about it. That's what I've played. Until this weekend when we went to Smash Brothers. No, we didn't. We went on to Mario Kart. Not many people turned up for it. A whole load of you have got Nintendo Switch consoles, but you weren't interested and you didn't show up. So, FTW, I don't think I've ever said caramel. You look more a Luigi guy. Pete, that's discrimination against. I don't know. Me, personally. Got to get myself the Zeldas. Yeah, Chronic, the Zeldas, some Metroid stuff. I'm wearing Mario trousers now. I do not own any Mario trousers, I'm afraid. I'm not reading any of these car cave comments out loud. I can't do it. Your Switch collects dust, especially if you need to swap cartridges. Yeah, I don't like physical media in that sense. The swapping of games does prevent and prohibit me from playing things, even though I'm not naturally all that lazy. It's just something about that little inconvenience is enough to put me off. But we played Mario Kart. It happened, it was already in there. The online setup, social tools on the Switch are as far behind as everyone says. There's no native chat on it. There's no like party system really. There's friend codes, and that's all awful. At the same time, I was actually really impressed with the online setup of Mario Kart. It kind of suits me perfectly because I don't talk to strangers on the internet, and the Nintendo Switch is so geared up to support online play where you don't need to talk to people. And online play is so filled with arseholes that actually that's really refreshing to me. I can go on there with no concerns. of anything anyone will say, because nobody can say anything. We have our Discord server, so we can plug all of the gaps in terms of the social side that we need. Actually being able to get together, play together, talk while we're doing it is an easy crutch to fill. Like, an easy crutch to fill, that doesn't make sense. It's an easy gap to fill. So we had the Discord going, we got in there, and the game itself, the way that it handles like its lobby, where you broadly set up an outline of the game, but then it lets all of the players vote on what track they want to do and things like that. It goes through, and then your stupid little me guy, who I love my me guy, like announces the event before you go into it, and it was all really slick and it all worked. Nobody dropped out, nobody had lag issues, not even Tony, who was playing from wherever he is, you know, and it all worked. So actually I'd be quite welcoming of more Nintendo multiplayer games to add into the little rotation. Saying that, all of this praise for Nintendo, must have seen that they have taken very formal, super serious legal action against Yuzu, or whatever the emulator's called. Why UZU? So I'm going with Yuzu. Yuzu is a Nintendo emulator, or a Switch, specifically a Switch emulator. The guys that make it, they're called like Tropical Breeze or something, I think. I can't fully remember, but the guys that make it have made several emulators. The Citra one for the 3DS as well, but Yuzu is the one that that Nintendo are going after with their legal action. It's very serious legal action. They want them to cease development and publishing of their emulator, and they want damages. Nintendo lawyers are very serious, so those damages could be very serious. Anyone defending Nintendo, you really think Nintendo will stop there? I think it's a very unfortunate situation. And no, of course Nintendo aren't likely to stop there. But are they wrong? Entirely. Do you think they have a right to go after Yuzu, or do you think they're arseholes? Because they left Yuzu be. Yuzu's been around for a long time, since like 2018, and they left it be for the entirety of like all of this time, and they've left a lot of other Nintendo emulators up. They created this situation, possibly so. Why not just cease and desist? Yeah, that's a fair point, Flush. I mean, obviously they are trying to set a message and stop everybody from following in the same footsteps, which a cease and desist wouldn't do. Do you think they would have done it if it weren't for all the piracy, though? Because it's tricky, because I'm massively in favour of emulators as a preservation effort and as an option for people that have bought the games and all the rest of it. Like, the ways that everyone claims that emulators should exist, those are just fine. But, like, the piracy is crossing a line, and obviously most corporations are not going to be too pleased about it. You can't really separate the two things. You can't provide an emulator without also giving access to piracy. But the thing that seemed to, and Nintendo are saying this, but how true it is like anyone's guess. The thing that they're saying has pushed it to legal action is Tears of the Kingdom was available on Yuzu through illegal means, only through piracy, not through any legitimate means, 2 weeks before it came out, and it was downloaded 1 million times. Like that is hard to fathom. A company saying, "Oh, we don't care. That's only 1 million lots of our like $70 or whatever. We don't mind. Have it. It's fine. We're charitable." Of course, they're not charitable. So, how much money is Nintendo making already? They can't say their profits are being hurt at all. Well, they can though, Tony. There are assholes. They could just release their games to PC, make more money, but they choose not to. I would also, like, the ideal scenario, definitely, yes, they would be releasing stuff to PC, but that's their prerogative. That's not really up to us, is it? Like, if they don't want to, then they don't want to. We don't have, like, some special unilateral right to have things if they don't want us to. It's no entitlement to a Nintendo game. Like, then Nintendo, it's like, surely they get some say in who gets it, don't they? Yeah, Flush. So it's difficult because I don't know, like, it's really difficult to know what Nintendo's stance would be on emulation if it didn't have this overlap with piracy. Nintendo can shut the fuck up. Why? They're like, EA laid off 700 people, Sony laid off 900 people, Microsoft laid off 1900 people. Whatever they were called, Deck 9 laid off 20% of their workforce. Would you rather Nintendo went after pirates or laid off 20% of their workforce? It's not sinister of them to want to combat piracy, and it is terrible that a consequence of that is emulation and preservation. Put games on PC. I would also like love them to do that. Might make the problem worse for them rather than better, because like there's this myth that people are actually nice and if you gave them the games they would all buy it. It's not necessarily true, but how many of those people would have bought the game though, and how much did people downloading and streaming add to the hyper marketing? That's partial truth, Tom, but it's not those people's decision to make. So like I hear that from piracy advocates all the time. Oh, it doesn't do any harm. Like, it's not up to you. Not up to you. 20% of the workforce should make their games hack proof. Well, that's the other thing. That's part of the case, is that the reason the emulator exists is through stolen decryption keys. So nothing is hack proof if you steal the keys. I would also love to play Zelda games on PC with better frame rates. I'd love to play everything everywhere. But it's like Breath of the Wild. It's too expensive for me. I'm not interested enough in Breath of the Wild to buy it. And there are so many people that would pirate it in that situation, because I want Nintendo to lower their prices, right? I want them to lower their prices. I would buy that game at a lower price. But if Nintendo don't want to lower their prices, I can't make that decision for them that I'm going to play it anyway. I'm not entitled to play it just because I want to play it for cheaper. So I will wait until it gets cheaper. It's... I don't really understand. I say this as someone who's an advocate of piracy in the right circumstances. I'm a massive advocate of ethical piracy. If someone doesn't have the means to get a game and like has no power to change that situation, I'm all for them downloading the game, playing it. Absolutely. And I think most developers are as well. But I'm not an advocate of people just stealing shit because they feel like they're entitled to it, or because they don't like the corporation or whatever else. Like, it's not some clever protest. Not buying the game is the clever moral high ground protest. Stealing it is a dick move. Well, that's fine, Replicant. Like, that's the part of it that I don't like that gets caught up in this. Like, Nintendo going after Yuzu means you couldn't do that anymore, right? So you're perfectly legitimate, perfectly within your rights, owning of the game and being able to do what you want with it. That's an entirely different conversation. But and you've done that. You obviously have some moral compass as well, right? Because obviously if you're going to play it on PC, you had no need to buy it. You just weren't comfortable with the stealing, I'm assuming. But it's not, it's just selfish, Shyla. You have no right to play a game that someone has made. It's a weird... Like, if that's your moral compass and the way that you view the world, then the world is in a bad place. You wonder how difficult it would be to modify the cartridge reader to just plug into a USB slot. I'm assuming difficult because no one's done it yet. You have Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but the frame rates are awful. Yeah. I kind of want to play them on Switch just as like a masochistic proof that I've done it properly game. But really, thing is, I'm not gonna just play it on PC because I feel entitled to. Though, like, I would buy it before doing that. Your family were brought up on people playing the games that they enjoyed. That seems okay. Paying for games that they enjoyed. Every time you see me with a glass, it makes you want to crack open a bottle. Don't do it, Quicksilver. Don't do it. It's not good for you. Plus, you're judicious about any full price purchase. Usually, it's to support something outstanding. Nintendo for you is a tougher purchase, mainly because things rarely go on sale and you haven't finished the stuff that you bought. It's a tough purchase for me. That's why I don't have Breath of the Wild yet. FCW, you brought Tears of the Kingdom. You wanted to play it on... You bought it, sorry. You wanted to play it on the PC, but getting it from your Switch to your PC was too much of a hassle. Yep. Again, like... You could definitely push back on my stance on that and say, hey, why do you feel entitled to play it on PC if you own it? That's a lot more nuanced to me, though. Because then you do get into, like, what rights you actually have when you buy something. And you can definitely argue that either way. And obviously I'm going to argue in favour of the consumer on that one, but... Plus, you're about 30 hours into Breath of the Wild. You play it sparingly, so you didn't buy Tears of the Kingdom. I've spent all of this time waiting for Breath of the Wild to go on sale, and obviously it never does because it's Nintendo. Tony, absolutely. Boycott Nintendo by not playing Nintendo games. That's what a boycott is. I'm not messing much with the latest Elders, but as I don't anticipate that I'm going to love them very much. Nintendo do have sales, yeah, but hardly. Like Splatoon 3 was 33 quid instead of 50 the other day. That's not like the other platforms. The easy comparison is Breath of the Wild against Horizon Zero Dawn, because they very famously came out at the same time. At one point, I looked at the two storefronts to see what these games cost. These two similar in scope, like Horizon's obviously more expensive, but similar in scope games, similar in what they meant to the platforms. And you could get Horizon and its DLC for, I think it was like £9. And you could get Breath of the Wild with its DLC for £85. Nintendo are arses for that, but that doesn't mean I can just take their stuff because I want it. Yes, Eradication. As consumers, we want to play it on the best game. I'm not a fan of games being locked to hardware in the way that they are. Donkey Kong has been on your wish list forever. I didn't even know Nintendo do wish lists. That seems a bit modern for them. You pirate TV series and films because you can. Wouldn't watch anything. You pirate TV series and films because you can. You wouldn't watch anything if not. Quite happy with games and music. You don't think you're entitled to free TV though. I've just always done it that way. Yeah, I mean... I have to be consistent with my stance on it, right? Like, I wouldn't be doing that, but you know, it's a thing. I'm not trying to like crucify anyone for feeling different. I get very tired seeing the proper pro-piracy arguments over and over that hold no water at all. They're just people thinking they're entitled to things over and over and over again. But like I say, I do support ethical piracy. And I definitely support emulation and preservation. So that's where the whole legal case gets really difficult and really messy and really unfortunate. It would be nice if people like used Yuzu ethically, so Nintendo didn't have a reason or excuse to go after them. But you buy all music, the only music you pirated was stuff that was unavailable to buy. Yeah, that's preservation and emulation, Pete. That's different. That's entirely ethical. Like, if you want to go and pirate the crap out of Battleborn right now, you're perfectly entitled to, because there's no other way to play it. As far as I'm concerned, anyway. But emulation's emulation, Tony. Emulation doesn't have to be stolen, right? Emulation is beautiful. That's also fine, Isla. Using Citra to get around a limitation with a save file system. Like you've paid for Animal Crossing. There's nothing weird or bad about that. You're entitled to do that with the software that you bought. But plus, you wonder how many sales Nintendo would have if they had a single day of $40 first-party games, Mario, Zelda, and so on. As long as they manage to make people aware of it, probably a bunch, right? But whatever they're doing obviously works for them because they are very wealthy. You always use Napster when you're younger. Everybody did when that's the thing, like it's opportunity without thinking of consequence generally. And again, I don't buy the argument that there is no consequence, but when stuff is available for free, a lot of people are gonna accept it and take it, right? They just are. Again, Isla, that should be the publisher's discretion whether it's possible to try a game before you buy it. It's not something that a consumer's entitled to. So, for me anyway. Quicksilver, you think you probably played that same disc? It's probably been the reason why those first 3 levels are the most nostalgic and familiar to you. Playing Tomb Raider 1 to 3 lately has been great. Yeah, and that's also fine. I didn't have money. Like, that's what I said from the start. I think if people are in a circumstance where they cannot get access to a game and they can't change that circumstance, that to me is ethical. This is something people will back and forth on though. Like, people could reasonably push back on that. For me, I think that's, you know, that's when I say I support ethical piracy, that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. But that's kind of, it's tricky because that is, I'm not generally in favor of like making rules up for yourself. It gets into more of a philosophical point rather than a practical one. In which case, in which, like I say, I support it, but cautiously. The psychology of buying $160 worth of games, 4 games for $40, or noping out of a single $60 purchase. Strange but true for you. So Flush, you reckon if Nintendo did a sale day and loads of the games were $40, you would buy a bunch? Tom, when DJs first went digital, you used to get really annoyed at those who pirated MP3s, especially from small artists. Then you realised you were being a bit hypocritical because of the TV thing. It's another reason why Game Pass is such a good thing, and even more surprising that it isn't more successful than it is. As a kid, you would have loved Game Pass. Yeah, Game Pass is very, very good for bringing content to people at a good price. It's, no Connor, not Far Cry. Yeah, it's the problem with Game Pass is it offers people a lot of games, but the audience for a lot of games isn't necessarily that big. Most people don't play a lot of games, so Microsoft are obviously trying to find that meeting point, find that audience that kind of service makes sense for. For me, as somebody that plays a lot of games, of course it makes sense, and there are a lot of us. Obviously, anybody that comes onto a gaming podcast is likely to fit into that bucket. Game Pass makes a lot of sense for everyone here, but this group is not as big as the industry wants it to be. So even though you're spending $100, it feels more worth it. It sounds silly when you say it. Well, again, you don't want to miss out if it's temporary as well, eh? Like if it's a temporary sale and it's going to go back up in price, then it is effective psychology, that. But does not being able to get a game include those who can't get it because they don't have disposable income? Depends, Tom. That's what I mean when I said, like, don't have the means or power to change their situation. So in some cases, some people are like, yeah, if you haven't got the disposable income. I said this ages and ages ago when we were talking about piracy. For me, if you have the disposable income and you choose not to buy something, then there's no that's okay. Like, it's not okay to do that. If you are in a position where you do not have disposable income, you could argue that you should try and change your situation and better it, but that's not practical or possible for everyone whatsoever. For me, it's okay. Like, people I don't like the idea that entertainment and art is gated by financial situation, as it were. So for me, if you absolutely, like, if you don't have the means to get a game, I would like the world to support you playing that game. Whether it does or not is more difficult. TJ, yes, we are doing calls today. If you want to jump on the Discord, you're very welcome to. Replicant used to copy Amiga games at high school. We had hundreds of discs. Yeah. I didn't have where did I have copied stuff? There's definitely been somewhere at some point in time where I'm sure I would have done, and there's definitely been times where I wouldn't have had like a second thought about doing it, like playing something that was available. But I don't know, and I'm not trying to be a dick. Like, I'm not trying to be all sanctimonious and make people feel bad for their decisions or anything like that. I have my line that I will walk, and I'm not like, people that steal stuff are weirdly bold and unashamed to tell people that they do. So I will try to be unashamed in telling people that I don't agree. I don't think that's okay. Is the background from a zombie game? I mean, there's a zombie just, I can almost tickle it just there. So yes, it is, Patrick, it is Dying Light 2. Flash, you think many people try to game share when they can. It doesn't work for some games though. Like live services, if you want to play together. Well, there's another interesting question. Anyway, is that better to game share? Yes, it is. It's tricky because both PlayStation and Xbox, I don't know about Nintendo's policy on game sharing, but PlayStation and Xbox, they don't formally support it. And they don't stop it either. So they support it in that you're allowed to have a home console and you're allowed to have a profile license. But if you were to ask them if it's okay, they're not going to say yes. Like to share with a friend that's not in your household, if you were to say, do you support game sharing on digital libraries? Neither one of them would say yes. Neither one of them are going to do anything about it. So it's an interesting question. Does that, like, would I be comfortable game sharing? And yes, I would. Does that make me a hypocrite? I don't know. Don't think so. I hope not. Boasting about piracy as some form of flex is lame. Yes, indeed. Isla, you want to go on TV? You want to talk about Pokemon though, don't you? Which we can loop round to in a bit. Baz, I don't like reading yours out. Hang about. You said 360. Baz, I like reading all of the stuff out apart from Tony's because he tries to trick me. You are ready to talk Pokemon. You used Kia's Mario Kart. See, that's fine though, Isla. Like, again, it's one way you could question it, but you don't, because that's just what physical media has always been. That's what you get with it. It can be shared. If you had told me that you had copied Kia's thing and played it at the same time as him, that would be getting into more dubious territory. But when you get a game, you're entitled to share it like that. That is literally within, it's written into the rights of the product. Again, it's written, that's within the license of the game. Nintendo allow that, so you've done nothing wrong, right? If you get a digital game on a Switch, it has a hardware license. It's licensed, presumably like Xbox and PlayStation, it's licensed to that bit of hardware and to that user profile. So if you make a profile on a Switch to play the game, that's within the terms of the license. Like, it's not even a question of morals and ethics. It's explicitly defined that you're allowed to do that. And Nintendo, whether they want to or whether it's a legal protection is another question. I don't know if it's a legal protection and they have to let you do it, but either way, you can do that, no problem. Is it a Sonic soundtrack? No, Connor, it's not a Sonic soundtrack. You loved yourself, you'd play Hunt Showdown. Not sure that's true either. The track will seem similar because it is probably from a different game than the one that you like, than the one that it's taken from. Which is a clue. So, That was the awkward piracy topic, which I'm surprised that I went into again. I don't like to go into that one because the cool opinion is always like, yay, piracy. But I seem to have... I don't know. Plus, for services, you like family plans, even though some are restrictive. Being able to share the cost with 3 to 5 friends and family is a cool option to have. Yes. It's a shame the Game Pass family plan seems to have been relinquished and vanquished and terminated and destroyed and phased out of conversation. Soundtrack sounds Weeb adjacent. You could definitely say that would be a fair comment, Patrick. From what I know of the audience for this game, it does have a very distinct, quite large, quite unusual audience. No offense to your brother, Isla. Yeah. So, what else? We've done piracy. We've done some redundancies. It's the newest topic. All opinions are good as long as you're not dismissive of others. I'm absolutely dismissive of others on that topic, which makes me the arsehole. But if someone tells me it's always okay to pirate Nintendo games with a big smug look on their face, I'm dismissive. If somebody tells me it's okay, it doesn't actually harm the publisher because The Witcher 3 sold just fine, I'm dismissive. If somebody tells me, oh no, if I like the game, then I'll pay for it, I'm dismissive. Like, there are so many wormy, dodgy justifications that I think it's fine to be dismissive in those cases. Yeah, but I'm being that prick though, Tom. I'm being dismissive. Doom and gloom? Nah, sorry, you're right. It should be all about the game, shouldn't it? So I apologise. Let's talk about that. When are you going to use the Hunt Showdown soundtrack? Connor, does it have one? Hunt Showdown has such an emphasis on being able to hear sound in the environment. I didn't even know it had music. Does it? Why? Why does it have music? Is it good? Should I use it as a background? Is it long enough for a 6-hour Q&Asa show? There's only 2 levels, aren't there? Actively wanting to be a prick tonight. I'm not. It's not that I want to be a prick. It's that I'm acknowledging that I am a prick. Like by the definition and criteria that you laid out, I am a prick. And, you know, I have to hang up to it sometimes. So Shady, it has it in the menu. Are you a Hunt Showdown player as well? Because if you are, you probably got a new best friend in Connor there. Port sell for the band. And does the menu music have lyrics and stuff? I've got lyrics right now, but typically as a background bit of music, I prefer not to. What else is there on the game front? So here's an important question. TJI, by the way, if you are still wanting to come onto Discord, I don't know if you're in our Discord actually, but if you follow the link and you stick yourself in whatever waiting room you can see, then you can come in and talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'm always interested in talking about Pokemon, so do we have Pokemon fans with us today? Because if you follow my channel remotely closely, then you'll already know I've never played a Pokemon game. I've played Power World a little bit, but that's not at all a Pokemon game. Pete, I'm a prick that you like. Well, thank you. Connor's a Pokemon fan. Connor, have you seen... Gamsley is still here, apparently, just waiting for pronunciation that he can pounce on. Sitting in silence until I say garage again. You think Game Freak needs to do better? So Connor, Gamsley, and obviously Isla, the Pokemon Presents event thing that happened. Was it yesterday? Was it the day before? Tell me something about it. Like, is there meat to it? Can we talk about this? It was on Tuesday. I'm totally lost on Pokemon because I said I intend to play one over the course of like this year because I want to know more Nintendo stuff. I want to be more capable of holding conversations around Nintendo because they are clearly relevant, and actually, much as I don't often admit it, they do an awful lot of stuff that I do like. So I had it on my agenda to play a Pokemon game, among other things. There's many games I want to play, but I said I'm going to play one this year. And I was surprised that everyone said I have to go back and play some crusty old Game Boy version. Is that true? Right, are the new ones not better than the old ones? For someone going into their first one? I struggle with it because I've got a load of nieces and nephews who are like 4 years old and they love Pokemon, which makes me think I'm probably not actually going to get along with it that well. Replicant Pokemon is bad. I think there's a fair chance that that'll be the impression I get. I think maybe if you don't start it as a child, it's not so easy to enjoy. But I've got an open mind and I do want to try it. I might find it easier to play the original version. Why? You mean because they've layered too much stuff on it? Old stuff is way better. Why, George? And welcome, by the way. What makes it better? I can't believe that the new versions are hard to play because my 4-year-old nephews aren't better gamers than I am at this point in time, I don't believe. And they love it and they play it all the time. Ruby and Sapphire are your favourites. What sets them apart? Nyla, you have to shout in my ears if you want to get your voice into the conversation. Each version brings in new stuff, much of which is not considered representative of the core Pokemon experience. Gamsley! Thank you. Haven't had Dave, how's that possible? You're already a member, Dave. Well, those of you that have picked those up, if you are here, welcome, and thank you, Gamsley, for doing that. They're gonna sparkle and alert for a little while now. Simple and fun. It's not hard. It's not good. Simple and fun. It's not hard and it's not good. It's fun, but it's not good. The irony of Gamsley gifting Dave a sub. Yes. Yeah, I forgot they're back and forth. Dave's done you there, Gamsley. I can't hear you. Oh, are you talking, Island? Sorry. I can fix that. That. If you talk again, I should hear you. You won't go onto the stream. It'll just be me that hears you if you do. Your experience with Pokemon was getting rolled up on by the police when you were with your dog at night. Pokemon Go launched a few days prior, and they thought that you were at a Pokemon gym. You should guess you was there. Okay. And what, the police also wanted to catch Pokemon there? The police weren't going out busting like Pokemon farmers, were they? Isla, I heard you then. Gamsley, I can get you in after. It's a one at a time affair for this one. Isla, would you like to be on stream? That's going to happen. Are you ready? Yeah, it'll do. Right. You're on stream now. Tell me what you want to tell me about Pokemon or anything else that you want to tell me about.
Oh, you put my stench on screen.
Yes.
And
I
don't know
that's
what
necessary. It comes with the voice.
Does it? Oh, but I was hoping you would show the people the thing.
I wonder which one goes over the top. Yeah, I can do. I can show them the thing. So what Pokemon Presents, wasn't it? Right, I'm going to put that on while you're talking.
Tell me when you hit
And I'm going to shut the OST up. The OST is gone. Pokemon Presents from yesterday. It's like it's got a big Pikachu thing. And it's on the stream. So tell me what you want to tell me about it.
Pika Pika.
No, that's not.
Oh look, the unknown. They're scrambled. Do you know these guys?
Oh no,
Is it
Patrick.
What's he done?
Patrick, you need to feed your children. Patrick has gifted like 1 million memberships concurrently. Which waiting room, TJ? Whichever one you can see. The top one that you can see. You should only be able to see like 1, maybe 2, but they are under the waiting room category, so stick yourself in there.
Do you see the plushies?
I see the plushies.
That's
Yes.
very cute.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just think Nintendo Directs and Pokemon presentations and that kind of thing, they're always really cute.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess it's like an evil marketing trick that is working.
I typically, when the other companies do their big presentations, I prefer it to be quite quick fire. Show me what's going on rather than talk for ages. And much as I don't want to disrespect the various developers and things, I don't usually want to hear them say very much. Nintendo do just seem to go through quick. Their events are never more than like 25 minutes long, are they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're straight to the point, but they've got a lot of what will be considered filler by a lot of people. This one, I think we're on the same, like Pokemon Go at the moment.
Yes. Yes,
But
we are.
there's this blue Saru Ledge. I don't actually know who that is. I don't know if it might be spoilers because I haven't finished Scarlet and Violet quite yet. I'm like so close to the end, but I'm just not quite over the finish line.
I've seen that guy.
maybe
He's
I
in
will-
Power World. They stole the Power
Who?
World green guy. And that one. He's in Power World.
Reggie?
That one's in Power World. He's
Fuecoco?
bigger in Power World. Way cooler.
Oh, Mareep.
No, all of them. Apart from that one with the swords,
don't
he's
know.
new.
I don't know which one you can see. We're not synced up properly.
It doesn't matter. They're all in Pokemon.
I'm tempted to play Pokemon Go again now.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. Like I did play it when it came out. I actually managed to get it before it was allowed in Europe, but I played loads of it and I only stopped originally because it drained my phone battery really badly and used up all my internet. But
Did the police try and stop you?
no, but we did go down to our local not Pokemon Center, was it? No, our local gym. And then someone pulled up in like a fancy car who I assumed was a drug dealer. But it turned out he was like a local YouTuber who had to dominate the gym for something he was doing for his YouTube channel. So that was a really surreal experience.
It's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. But
I'm
it was
sad
weird
now,
because
just from hearing that story.
what year was this? This was 2016, so I was like 22. So it was like me, Jack, and Kier going down the park as like full-grown adults and all sitting around a nothing on a map with a bunch of other random adults.
That said, you can get poker biscuits and 100 something else for logging on. I hate this game already. It's not going well, my journey into Nintendo. I don't know.
Was it
One
Pokemon
of the
Sleep?
phone ones.
No, I think it was Pokemon Sleep is not a real game. I don't even want to engage with whatever Pokemon Sleep is.
Brian, you don't like Power World. Have you played it much? I don't think its success is a result of its Pokemon similarities. Carry on, Ida. Carry on.
I don't know what I was talking about. Have you seen the Pokemon that looks like the string cheese man?
I've not seen any Pokemon. Ever. Not even now. I'm
Yeah,
just
you
seeing
have.
characters from Power World at the moment. No, I haven't.
No, that's not true. Don't say that.
Yeah, it is.
What are you seeing? Which game is it talking about at the moment for you?
I don't know. There's a chest full of gold and some Power World characters dancing around.
So is it Pokemon Unite?
Oh, I want to know. Isn't that the one that I want to play? Pokemon Unite. Is that the fighty one?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the League of Legends type thing, right?
Yeah. Now that's just come on.
Oh, okay. Am I ahead of you then?
No, never. Yes, you are ahead of me.
Well, I'll pause it for a second then.
Unite is the mobile-like. Yes, Patrick. That's the one that I'm interested in because it's not a keyboard and mouse mobile-like. I don't like click to move very much. That's my biggest problem with MOBAs. I just don't find that a very satisfying way to play games. So Pokemon Unite has to be a different one because it's only made for phones and switches. So you have to have controller, like direct control of the characters, which I much prefer. And I don't mind using the PAL characters and their abilities to play in a MOBA. That's fine. That makes sense to me. I could deal with that. My concern is that I'm not sure the camera might be super zoomed in because it's made for phones and it might have a horrible interface and all of that stuff. But
Oh, speaking of phones, the mobile games just come up for me.
I see someone drinking milk.
Yeah,
He's
it's that
pleased
one.
with his milk. Also pleased with the cards on his phone. He's just a happy guy.
Yeah, this is such a weird concept, but I'm intrigued.
I hate it.
Yeah, like I kind of hate it, but I'm probably going to try it. Like it looks like it's essentially going to be a massive scam, but I don't know. My brother said that there's like a certain amount that you can have for free every day or something like that. So I might just try it, but I wouldn't spend money on something like that. But
You reckon?
it looks
We'll see.
no, I wouldn't. I never really spend money on games like DLC. Well, like I'll play like if there's like additional gameplay, I'll pay for that. But I never buy cosmetics ever. I don't think. Yeah, no, I'll pay for like active content, but I won't pay for cosmetics or anything that seems like silly to me. Um, but I do like the idea of these. Like I don't know, I do think that's quite satisfying. The sort of like swiping across to open the packet and like rotating the card, and I don't know, these graphics look cute. So I don't know. I think it's something I'll check out. It might just be something that kills a little bit of time.
How many things are in this Pokemon Presents thing?
I don't know, 5.
So they've done Pokemon Unite, they've done Pokemon Card Game, they've done Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Sleep.
What's that?
I don't really know. I think it's like an app that tracks your sleep.
Wrong,
and
it's the whole Pokemon
something
Presents.
Boo.
Sorry.
Also, did you see it? Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket? Like, oh, Pokemon Cafe. Yeah, is that one as well? No, I swear Pokemon Sleep was on there. I didn't hallucinate that. Did I?
I don't know.
I could have sworn
I
I
know
saw
nothing.
Pokemon Sleep on screen. But yeah, oh no, it's gone. What was I saying a second ago? Damn it, Gamsley.
Oh, there was a guy drinking milk.
Yes.
That's been the highlight of the trailer so far for me.
The different things they were showing. I'm surprised I don't think they showed anything. Oh, maybe they did actually. Maybe there was some mention of the anime at the start, or if it was like a tie-in between the anime and whatever. There's so many different parts to the Pokemon franchise. There's so many things they could sort of cross-promote.
Same for me, Quicksilver. I've like, obviously it was a big thing that lots of people were into, but I never touched any of it. So it's wild to me that it's still relevant and still relevant with children and grown-ups. I don't know how it caters to both audiences at the same time.
Because it's a fine game for children. Like it's a good enough game that anyone can really play it, and like accessible to children. But I think adults, I don't know,
Gamsley.
Pokemon, to some extent, it's just the same game over and over again. And it's, I don't know, I guess it's
Why
just
do
like
adults still play
satisfying
it?
or addictive. Because we want to catch them all. We want to just play, I don't know, I guess it's like nostalgia, but also like it's new. So I guess it's like
Gamsley
going
agrees
back
with
and
you very
playing it
hard.
again for the first time. Huh?
Gamsley agrees with you very hard. He's yelling. He wants to catch them all as well. Like,
Yes, exactly. You need to try it.
that's the mechanics of like CGESS. What's CGESS?
Where is that?
Connor also wants to catch them all. I see. That's not even when I look at it as something that I want to have a go at. There's no way that I want to catch them all. I can already tell you that I don't care to catch them all. I want to go through it from start to finish. I do not want to catch them all. That's like achievement hunting. That's doing the trash content. I don't care for collecting them all. Meanwhile, like my wife's sitting in the other room. She's probably playing Power World right now and wants to collect them all. So it obviously works for some people, but that's not a thing that I want to do. I won't, Connor. I won't. That's not enticing to me. Oh, is that the end of it? Oh no, this is the teaser.
There's this last segment that's basically nothing, but it's basically just revealing the name of an upcoming game, and then I guess we're all just speculating on what that will actually be.
Okay, so the important question then, like, so you're saying I should start with which version? If I play one Pokemon game, it should be...
Oh.
If I were to play it,
Well,
like, I'm not going to play it today, but if I were to play one, like, right now. So this new one isn't out yet. Whoa, Discord went to shit when you said that. You said Pokemon.
Oh, maybe they're trying to warn me that my choice was bad.
Possibly, or it's trying to warn me that any choice is bad. But what was your choice?
I don't know. I was going to suggest Pokemon Yellow because I think it's technically a first gen one, but I think it came out after the original 2 or 3. I think there's technically 4 first gen Pokemon games.
So what did Yellow come out on?
Like, I don't know, the original Game Boy, right?
You want me to play an original Game Boy game today?
Right. Look, okay, fine.
Like,
my first Pokemon game was Pokemon X.
Shit.
Shut up. My first Pokemon game was
is
Pokemon
that
X.
actually what you would recommend?
Well, okay, not to you, because you're like that about it.
No, you're literally recommending it to me right now. I'm the person on the other end of this Discord call.
Yeah, okay, right. I'm going to recommend Pokemon X then, because that's the one I started with, and the graphics are a bit better.
And what was that on?
The movement's a bit better. 3DS?
But 3DS was a dual screen weird thing, so what would you play that on today?
Oh.
Connor says X was nah.
Okay, fine. What about, like, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire? What do we think about that? Like, I think maybe one of the modern remakes of one of the older games might be a good option.
Let me do Ruby. Does that have a modern version? Because Omega and Ruby, those are Final Fantasy weapons, right? I can do that. Are they the same? Omega and Ruby, were they side by side?
No, Omega Ruby is one of them, and Alpha Sapphire is the other.
Oh.
They're more or less the same game, but there's sort of an inversion of like the antagonist.
Settled, like Omega Ruby would be the obvious choice because those are the 2 weapons from Final Fantasy. I'll do it.
Okay, fine. Play Omega Ruby.
Gamsey says he's been saying that as well. Okay, fine. If Gamsey's saying it, then I'm going to play X. The only other one that I can think of. Yellow. Rachie, you know how to destroy Nintendo emulation. Nintendo should make a powerful console. This way it would be too difficult to emulate. Impossible, Rachie. Impossible. Can't have a... Like, you can emulate the modern consoles probably pretty soon. PCs are just that much more powerful. So, I don't think either the Series X or PS5 have been emulated yet, but it's not a power issue. Especially with them being basically PC parts in there, but... You have to play it to 100% completion. Connor, there's no such thing. I'm not filling your stupid Pokedex or my stupid Pokedex. I will play it until the campaign is done and I'll put it down just like I would pretty much any other game.
Become the champion. That's like the end of the campaign. Beat the Elite Four and become the champion.
There we go. That sounds easy. I can do that.
Shall I jump out now? There's someone waiting.
Hours. Yes. You can stay where you are, but yes, you'll be out essentially. Let me see if I can minimize that. I'm going to bring TJI and I'm going to try and figure out how to do this. So we have TJI, who first of all, you can probably, I can hear you now, but you won't be heard on stream yet, just so you know. I'm going to bring you up here. Say something to me so I can hear your voice. He's not there yet. He's muted at the moment. Ooh. When I hear your voice, then I'll bring you in. Gamsy's also waiting in the guest room, so Gamsy will be in afterwards. Am I buying Banisher, Alex? I want Banisher very much, but not yet. Final Fantasy Rebirth, yes. Apparently I can play that at midnight, so you're all getting booted out in half an hour. And Dragon's Dogma 2 I need to get as well. TJI, can I hear you yet? I haven't heard you yet. No, I'll keep you there for a minute. When I do hear you, I'll bring you onto the stream. So, no, not Gamsley. Patrick, you're right. Once a week. I mean, I actually have a lot of time for Gamsley. He's very welcome to come and talk. But you're right. And we can't talk about like Pokemon on the Xbox show tomorrow, though, can we? So he's got to have his opportunity to speak here, or be like a, you know, contorted for the whole of tomorrow. TJ, I still haven't heard you. So in the meantime, people keep talking to me. TJ, I can see the mute is flicking on and off, so he's trying, but nothing has come through yet. Isla, tell me if I'm wrong. If you hear anything that I don't, then please let me know. Baz, you would rather play with a big hairy tramp than that rubbish. What, Pokemon? Gamsley, what is Canadian sausage? Is it made of like a moose or something? I'm assuming. Alex, Final Fantasy Rebirth has a lot of side quests and mini games. Well, I have the time to play the mini games. For Final Fantasy, I will play it all. There are very few games where I will play it all. But, and I say that, it might not even be true. If it presents me content that seems long and bad, then I'll leave it. Final Fantasy VII Remake. So part 1 had some fairly bad side content, but it was quite short and brief, and I did do it all, I think. Saying that, I didn't go. It has post-game extra content that I didn't touch. Hang about. Andy W with a dot. See, Andy W is coincidentally my dad's name, but I don't think you're my dad, are you? You have to confirm. Andy, are you my father? I need to know. I don't think you are, because I've seen a different Andy W around, but it's very confusing. Canadian sausage are half-inch appetizers. I'm assuming... I'm not even... No. I'm going to leave that, Tony, and just assume. No, don't say hello, son. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm being trolled and wound up. Pancake and maple syrup in a tube, Pete. Isn't a Canadian sausage? No. We don't need to do more Canadian sausage. Gamsey can clarify at some point. TJI, I'm going to pop you back in the waiting room for a minute because I cannot hear you. So I'm going to pull Gamsey in. I'll pull you back in once he's said his bit, and we'll try again. And if you can hear me either on YouTube or wherever else, I'm sorry that it's not working. Hopefully it will. Gamsley. Alright, I can hear Gamsley, so I'm going to bring him onto the stream. Here we go. Gamsley, you can camera if you want, or you can not. That's fine. Talk to me.
Oh, Patrick, you piece of shit.
No, me. I am not Patrick. Much. I can't believe...
What's up, Asa?
Are you telling me it's not regular sausage with maple syrup? What is it? What's Canadian sausage?
No, it's just my human sausage. That's it. That's all it is, Asa. Yeah.
So Tony was right. Half-inch appetizer.
Yes.
Tony, I apologize for putting you down. Gamsley. Pokemon, yes. Tell me.
Pokemon. So as everybody's been saying, Omega Ruby and Soul Silver, top-notch Pokemon games. You should start with those. Sadly, those are, you're gonna have to, take some time to go find those. Do you have those systems?
I can pirate them.
Don't say that.
What? No, part of the topic of the show, Gamsey. What systems were they on?
Oh my God, Soul Silver, Omega. Hold on, you know what? Omega. I think that's Ruby. That was a 3DS game, wasn't it? Yes, it's a 3DS game. Do you have the 3DS?
No. Why do people keep recommending me handheld ones? I can't even stream a handheld one. That's a terrible idea. Is there not like a proper console version?
Well, that's why I said sadly. There are a bunch of games on the Wii U.
I have a Wii U somewhere. I don't actually know where it is, but I did have one.
I'm pretty sure the Wii U had. Or no, that's wrong. It's the 3DS. No, it's all the 3DS. It was the 3DS where you could buy the classic ones as well. So no, I'm mistaken. I'm sorry, Asa. You have nothing right now because the Switch. The problem with the Switch is that they did remake the best games of all time, but they completely made the mechanics different. So, what was the name? Somebody in chat for sure knows. Like the Pokemon, the first ones with like you just throw balls at Pokemon and not even battle them. Which one was that? It came out really early on Switch. Like one of the first Pokemon games to come out.
Today. No idea.
Pokemon,
Connor,
not Go.
Can you ban Connor? Don't like if you could ban him before Gamsy reads the comment, please.
I already did. I'm being nice.
It's too late. Connor can stay.
It's all. Let's Go Pikachu, and Let's Go Eevee. Are probably remakes of the two best games, but they completely like remade the entire battle system, and it's awful. So those aren't really genuine Pokemon games. So I would recommend those, but I can't. So there's those, and then there's Pearl. The new Pearl and Diamonds ones that were remade recently, and those are the best as well. Like they're really solid Pokemon games, but how they remade the graphics
sound like the ones I should go for.
Yeah, but honestly, I wish I could recommend them, but I loved Pearl and Diamond, but I fell asleep on these remakes, and it's the first time I didn't actually complete the whole games through. So I don't know if that's a good start. I can't recommend those. If I can't even beat them. And they were my favorite before, one of my favorites before. So I wouldn't put that on you. And then, everything has a problem on the Switch right now with Pokemon games. X and Y were the first try in the open world formula, but it didn't really land that well with me.
Their names are too lazy as well. Boring. I don't want an X or a Y. Patrick says Sword. Is Sword not good?
I mean, I just don't like. I think the recent Pokemon games have been experimental to what the future can look like, and they haven't perfected that formula yet. So that's why this Switch generation of Pokemon has not been the best for me. I'm so sad. I can't recommend any of them. The one that I actually had the most fun with was Legends of Arceus, which is just not even a fucking Pokemon game to its core. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I can't recommend really any of them. Violet was fun, but again, the setting wasn't really good for me. Maybe you will like it, but the setting didn't do it for me. I'm gonna go and be an outlier here, and if you have to play one, probably play Legends and see if you like it.
What's Legends?
Yeah. Legends is it's a prequel, I believe, to Pearl and Diamond. So it's the first. It's when Pokeballs were first getting created, and they were first starting to capture Pokemon and use Pokemon and all that stuff.
Wait a minute. So it actually has proper lore to it.
Yes, it has
there's stuff
it
going
has
on.
lore to it. Yes. Yes, but it is one of the most empty ones. I don't know. It's like you're basically in one city HUD, and you're going there's a lot of different biomes, but there's not a lot of life outside of Pokemon when you get into the wilds. But it does have proper lore. It does have a satisfying gameplay loop, and it is a fun variation of the combat system. So if anything, go with that one. But I might be people are probably going to jump on me for that, but I really enjoyed
nobody
this one.
Nobody has yet, because nobody's ever heard of this one. Isla, do you like Legends? Oh, okay. I didn't know you was. You just said Legends, like Pokemon Legends. I was like, Pokemon Legends. I've never heard of that.
Pokemon
Okay,
Legends
you're talking
Arceus.
Arceus. I understand.
It came
Understand.
out before Violet. Yeah. So
Mhm.
I would seriously give that one a shot because it has some interesting ideas, and the one that just got announced is a Legends game, and it's a spin-off series, you know, a spin-off series in a big way.
So, if you had to choose one game for me to play, would it be Pokemon or Breath of the Wild?
Oh fuck me, Breath of Wild easy. Yeah,
Easy. Okay.
Breath of the Wild.
That'll have to
Breath
happen
of the Wild
first.
pretty easy because Breath of the Wild. I mean, to me, Breath of the Wild was a change in the formula of Zelda, but they really nailed what they were trying to do. Yes, maybe it doesn't have, you know, the, I don't know, grand temples and stuff like that, but they nail the exploration, they nail the lore in certain cases, and they nail just the game, you know, they nail the gameplay. It's a very satisfying loop. You should give it a shot. But I can't say the same thing about Pokemon. They tried with Pokemon Arceus. It's a thing that they're trying to do, and it didn't hit as well as Breath of the Wild. It's not as a big enough leap yet for Pokemon.
Okay. Gamsley, I'm going to kick you out in a second, but for those that aren't already aware, Gams is here on the Xbox Series podcast tomorrow, which is going to be brilliant. I don't even know what we're talking about yet, but there's going to be loads of stuff because there always is, and it's always a good time there. That is 8 o'clock UK time tomorrow. What time is it in your world, Gamsley?
3 p.m. Eastern time. And also, I hate you all, and Brotato's amazing, and Patrick sucks.
Can't believe you managed to say 3 things that are completely untrue on your way out. It's impressive. Good form, Gamsley. Right.
See you. Go play Breath of the Wild, you clown.
And I'm getting TJI in. Oh, another untrue. Right. Get rid of that for a second. I'm going to bring TJI in. I'll make sure I can hear him, and then I'll bring it back up. Try again. How we doing? Any second. He's still muted at the moment, but Tony, you need code. We haven't got ages left. It is getting on a bit, so we're going to do this conversation with TJI. The open world Assassin's Creed. No, stop typing in there. You're in the Discord now. I imagine it's quite confusing. You will probably start listening to YouTube and trying not to miss out. So it makes sense. As soon as the stream catches up, unmute yourself on Discord, say some words, and then I will bring you on. Is the open world in Assassin's Creed better than Breath of the Wild? See, I've not played either, so I can't answer that. But anybody in chat that wants to pick up on that. Assassin's Creed Valhalla in particular is kind of renowned for being a very packed world in terms of like quest markers and activities that aren't necessarily that fun. Breath of the Wild, it has to be magic to impress me. It has to be such a good world from the way that people have spoken about that game. I'm not yet convinced that it is, but we'll find out. Pokemon Sleep was shown. I didn't try and gaslight anyone either. I just wasn't paying that much attention. So what is Pokemon Sleep? You can answer that one while TJI hopefully appears. He's trying again. He said in chat that last time he was on his mobile and chat was not working. He's trying again from his laptop. He's just unmuted. I can hear you now. Let me bring you on the stream and then we'll carry this on. That's not quite right. Now it's quite right. So you are live talking to the entirety of the world. The world's not going to answer you, but I'm sure they're pleased to see you. So what's up, TJI? And how do I say your name? I always say TJI, but I'm not convinced that that's how I'm supposed to be saying it.
It's actually Taye.
TJI, I was miles off.
Yeah, it's actually one of my accounts on YouTube. So I have like multiple ones. One for my YouTube channel, one for just just surfing and stuff like that.
What's your YouTube channel?
Taye Talks. TAYE TALKS.
And what kind of content's over there?
I've done a good bit of Xbox content. I primarily focus on RPG / Starfield, Mass Effect. Mass Effect is a big one that I do. I haven't dropped a new video in a while now, but I think my last video was Starfield. It was like a short review on what I liked about the game and what I didn't like about the game. I rounded it off
Awesome.
to an 8 out of 10, and I did see your I can't remember the name of your podcast, but with the guys yesterday, and you guys were talking about reviews
Roundtable,
and
yeah.
roundtable, yeah. And all I could think was, I think the problem is really not. I don't think it's the reviewers' problem. I think it's more about people who are like listening and reading, because they just seem to focus on the score. Because if you actually read someone's review or you watch someone's review, you can already like more or less make up your mind as to what the score is. So I could watch your review on something, and before you tell me buy, don't buy, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, just based on what you're saying, I can already say, okay, this is probably up my alley. But it seems like people just skip all that and they say, okay, you know what, it's a 7 out of 10, so it's a crap game. And I think that's just so irrelevant. The score doesn't matter at all.
There's so much in that statement, like 7 out of 10 is a crap game, shouldn't make sense to anybody anyway. And I know that is the way that people take it, but even then, 7's not even a low score. And you're right, there's only, like, a number can't tell the whole story. So it would be real nice if people engage with the content of a review properly to actually get what's important out of it and actually take the content.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do understand how 7 out of 10 can be perceived as a bad game, not because it's a bad game, just because of time. Like we're also time sensitive. You know, we have work, we have to go to the gym, we've got all these things to do. And the question is, there's so many good games out there. Why should I invest my time, playing your game? Because even right now, like, forget about games. There's Audibles I'm listening to. There's Shogun on Disney on Disney, which looks great. There's what else is there? There's another TV show. There's Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Netflix. So even after this call, it's like, okay, what will I spend my time doing? Do I go play 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim? Do I go play Starfield? Do I watch Shogun? Do I watch what's the Disney the superhero girl, Native American?
I don't know. I try and avoid the Disney at the moment. I've had too much.
Another good and Disney highly rated show. So it's like, which one should I do? So if I'm seeing a 7 out of 10, I'm not going to go play that game. I'm not going to go watch that TV show. So I do get the consumer's perspective, but I would just urge them to forget about the actual score. Just read the review, watch it, and make up your mind.
So with that recommendation in mind, though, like, why do you put a score on it at the end?
So I put a score at the end, and I think what I always preface it with what I'll preface it is, listen, this is why I like the game, this is why I don't like the game. For me, in the way I would judge this game, this is an 8 out of 10. And I think even when I say 8 out of 10, there's even some leeway there, right? So if a game is, for me, if a game is 8 out of 10, it means it can be a 7 out of 10 to you, or it could be a 9 out of 10 to you, because there's certain things about that game that I didn't like that you might like. So I remember when Starfield came out and Rand gave a review, and he said straight up, like, listen, I don't like the exploration stuff. I don't like all these, all this stuff. I care about the story. So straight away, he's telling me that this review is going to be a story-focused review. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, and it's going to be predominantly based on the story of the game. Forget about the, exploration, all that kind of stuff. And I think just as soon as he said that, I was like, yeah, this is going to be my kind of review, because me and him think the same way. Now, my friend, who's a huge fan of Skyrim, he loves exploration. He creates like 40 classes, all that kind of stuff. Well, Rand's review is going to be completely useless to him. So when Rand gives it an 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, I understand Rand's view, and I think he should look at that and say, okay, this guy's focused on the story, so he's giving it a 9 out of 10. So to me, it's probably a 7 or 6. And I think people just need to kind of gauge it that way. Now, I just give a score because, I mean, I could take it out, but I think ideally it kind of just puts my views into a single digit, more or less. And if you want to expand, if you want to see how I came to that conclusion, you can then obviously watch my review, and then you can kind of say, okay, I get where he's coming from. He liked the combat, he thought it was a bit too fast, thought it was a bit too slow, etc., etc., etc.
Cool. I don't disagree with anything that you said just there. And yeah, setting an expectation of like what it is that you're interested in and why you're reviewing something in the first place definitely helps and adds all of that context that people need. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. Right.
I had a few more questions, but like if you're strapped for time, then I'll just like bounce off.
Yeah, a little short on time. I need to do these questions and get out of here now. So I will ask you to bounce off on this one. We're going to do the questions that have been submitted for the Q&A thing and then wrap it up for today. And yeah, by all means, come back next week for follow-up questions is perfect.
All right, perfect. All right, ciao, guys.
Oh, wait. Taye, was that correct?
Taye, yes.
Taye, thank you for your time and for coming on, talking to us.
See you.
See you later. Okay, we're going to move on to... I can't remember if there were any topics that we didn't cover today. Final Fantasy VII was mentioned in the subject line. I haven't said very much about it. Apparently it comes out sooner than I expected. I'm massively looking forward to it. That's going to be freaking awesome, hopefully. I'll be really disappointed if it's not, because part 1 was really freaking awesome, and it will hurt a little bit more if the whole thing falls off for a part 2. So that's that topic covered. Nobody can complain. So first question that we got, Replicant has asked, apparently 90,000 people have signed the 10 billion UK lawsuit against PlayStation's uncompetitive overcharging pricing after a tribunal ruled that the case will go to trial. Thoughts on that? Replicant, I wish I could give you something on this, but I've not really looked into it. I've seen the news that that's happening. I've seen that there is a 10 billion lawsuit. I don't know where it comes in. Like, what is the case? What are they supposed to have been overcharging on, and on what grounds? Is it you'd imagine there are loads of things that you could leverage against Sony in the way that they control their own ecosystem and price things. Difficulty is that there are a lot of precedents already set by other platform holders like Apple and all the rest of it that make those cases quite difficult to actually win on, because Sony aren't really doing anything different to all the other platform holders. So if there is any shift, if anything does go against them, it becomes a massive deal across the tech sector in a way that you kind of hope becomes true, but doesn't seem overly likely. But what is the lawsuit specifically? Overcharging on digital products, as in, like, because they control their own store and they don't sell. Oh, that's the difference, isn't it? It's because you can't buy their codes from other retailers, unlike Nintendo, Xbox, and Steam. I hope that gets won. I mean, I've never seen a Nintendo digital key sold below Nintendo's own retail price. So I'm not sure. Maybe Nintendo needs to be looked at as well, because that definitely falls into the realms of price fixing if you never see anybody discount them. But yeah, digital marketplaces being cracked open in that sense, so that you get competitive marketplace dynamics on digital prices, would be a massive win, and one that truly should be the case. I don't particularly care for the compensation thing. Like, I don't care about the 90k people getting some kind of like pocket change because this has been going on. I care for the precedent that will be set. I care that Sony might have to change that uncompetitive practice, and that the rest of the industry would also be looked at. So hopefully things would get better. That's about all I can really say on that one. I don't know if it's likely to be won or lost, but I can hope. Next question, please. Their store prices are typically considerably higher than other storefronts. Can't be if they're not on other storefronts. But higher than the physical versions where there is a competitive market. Just the fact that there isn't a competitive market in the digital space is significant. Is the whole point of competition law in the first place. So General Sears asked, Tony asked me to ask you, Hunt Showdown when? That's a good question, Connor, because we've got Helldivers as well. Final Fantasy comes out and is going to disrupt my plans, but we do have potentially, I'm not sure if it will be streamed or not, but after the Xbox Series podcast tomorrow, I might have a multiplayer window, and I might have something in the afternoon tomorrow if Final Fantasy isn't out. It'll happen soon, Connor. If it's not tomorrow, don't you worry. I've got it. It's genuinely, it's installed. It's on the agenda. It's going to happen. There will be games. Next question, please. Flush, you loaded up Dead Island 2 on your Series X earlier this morning. Might fire that up in a few. Yeah, I played that for like an hour. Actually, I was quite impressed by it. It seems very tight and constrained in what you can and can't do, but if you want to chop up zombies, I think when I do go back to it, I'm going to disable a lot of the HUD. I don't need numbers flashing up, and I don't need it to tell me that I've maimed something. I just want these things to happen, but it does seem pretty dynamic in the way that you can smash it up. So I liked it. Hang about, have we run out of questions? We only had the 2 questions today, so that's fine though. That means we can wrap it up before midnight, which is very efficient, well scheduled, top behavior. So we'll do that. Connor says wait. I will consider waiting. Something might be coming in. Tony sent one, sad face. Did you? Did you? Has it fallen through a gap somewhere? And Baz says I didn't read one. So it seems, Isla, there may be some kind of issue with the YouTube Q&A, because several people are saying that they did submit them and they haven't appeared. If that is you, if you're sitting there stomping your feet because your question wasn't read, it's not the case. Like, they're not there. They're not appearing, or they would have been clicked through. So you can resubmit it and we'll try and get to it, or you can relax and do whatever it is you're doing for the evening. I don't mind. It is closing time. Tony is crying. I don't want that. Isla's saying retype, but she doesn't mean it because she needs to go to sleep. Are there any more in there right now? Ready to go. Look, it's all gone wrong. I think it's probably just going to be time to shut it all down. So like FTW says, have a good night, everyone. Have a good evening, afternoon, whatever it is that you're doing. Pokemon. What's a Pokemon? You mean a pal, Pete. They're called pals. That's the proper term. There's lots of numbers coming through. I'm getting a little bit scared, so gonna end it there. Thank you again, everyone, for coming along and listening to Pokemon stuff. And talking as we always do. Tomorrow has the Xbox Series podcast. And I know that I've been slacking on the streaming and stuff. Please forgive me. Usually when that happens, it's a sign that not all is necessarily super well. But I'll be back onto the streaming real soon. It's going to happen. It's going to be more. So just bear with me and I'll get straight to it. For now, this is the end. Blah.
Asa, Game On Daily. Asa, Game On Daily.